welcome back to another episode of What Would Helen Say, where therapy time is anytime. This week's episode, Knowing When to Let Go, is very appropriately titled since this is my last individual recording with this particular client. We will go over signs to look out for of when it's time to let go of certain relationships or maybe just restructure them. If you like the work that I'm doing, you would like to support me and see a season two, or if you're interested in gaining premium access to detailed notes about skills and how you can apply them to your own life, please click on the Patreon link below for more information. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So, what changes have been going on?
Well, since the weather has been like pretty good, I've been getting outside a little bit more. Even on some days where I'm like working and I'm just like I noticed last week, I was just like, I don't know, I didn't feel right. And I just went on my patio and I worked from there. So I do that a couple of days out the week now, and it really makes like a big difference. Even if I'm only there for like 30 minutes, it makes a big difference.
Awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad you had a day to be on a patio.
Right. Yeah, I think, I don't know, just like working from home, it's been like 2 years now. So it's just like, you don't see anybody, you don't see anything. It's just like I hear the cars outside and that's it. Yeah.
No, I definitely hear you. I think a really difficult thing of working from home is you become responsible for 100% of your daily experience.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Before, even if you're like in an office setting or something like that, if you're feeling bored, you're kind of antsy, you're tired of looking at your computer screen, like you could get up, you could walk around, and you could have some random conversation, whatever. And it's like you're not responsible for, every single piece of the interaction.
Right. Right. Yeah, they just like offered us to come back into the office, but I'm like, now it's a little bit harder because of the kids and like daycare and stuff. So yeah, I asked them like, could you comp me on daycare or something? And he was just like, oh no, it's okay, you can stay home. I'm like, okay.
They're like, we ain't doing all that.
I'm like, okay, well, it was worth the shot. Yeah, didn't work.
Because they're like, we didn't do it before, we ain't doing it now.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I know that sucks, just because, yeah, it would be nice to have a day where you can go into the office and not be like, oh, I don't have to change diapers. I don't
Right.
have to make somebody lunch. I don't have to do this. I don't have to put somebody down for a nap. Like,
Exactly. Just like wishful thinking, but I guess I'm grateful just to be able to still have a job.
and that's good. That's good. But let's balance it out. Okay. It's still okay to say, but this sucks.
It does. I've been like even looking for like more opportunities like within the company. I think I was telling you that before. So they got back to me basically, and they're like, yeah, you passed the interview process, everything was cool, and we loved all your ideas and things like that. But we're unsure if you'll be a good fit because it doesn't seem like you want to stay with customer service. It seems like you want more. So I'm just like, that doesn't even make sense to me. But whatever. Yeah. So yeah, this is like my third time trying with you, and so since then I've just been looking for another job. I'm over it at this point.
Right. I mean, that doesn't make any sense that you kind of have to fight for the position. Like, if you
Right.
applied for it, obviously you knew what it entailed and you were
Yep.
okay with it.
Hmm. And then to tell me like, yeah, we like your ideas and we want to use them, and I'm just like, no, don't use them. You can't use anything that I said now.
But they'll do it anyway because they'll be like,
Exactly.
well, it's work product, so it belongs to us.
Exactly. It's crazy. I'm just over it. Like,
Yeah, I mean that definitely sounds like it's a sign. Like it's just time to go.
mhm,
They're going to tell you we value you, but we don't value you enough to do something and show it.
exactly.
Okay. Okay. Sucks, but it is what it is.
Right. So I'm
Okay.
just trying. I kind of know like which direction I want to go in, but just trying to find like I guess like the right fit, like at the right company. But yeah, I'm just over them. Like I've already set a deadline in my head that I need to be going. Well, that I would like to be going.
Okay. But that's good. I always encourage people to have a timeline in mind. Like, how long are you truly willing to be in the current position?
For myself, like I've told myself, I have 60 days with them. Like I'm looking like that soon.
All right.
Especially with the wedding in about 60 days, I'm just like, after that, I'm ready to just like, have some type of happiness as opposed to the wedding, the newlywed stage, and then I'm still miserable every day at work. Like, I don't want that.
Right.
And they're like constantly trying to be like, oh, well, you can help us out with this project and we need your help with this one. No. So I've just been ignoring it. I have not been doing any of the projects. Where's the extra project money? Like, I'm not doing more than what I'm paid for.
Right. Because that's how they sucker you.
Exactly.
They
Like, I'm
get
not
you.
good enough to go to another position with more money, but I'm good enough to take on projects for free. Nope. And it was one of the departments that I interviewed for twice, and they're like, "Oh, well, you can be the helper." Do I look like a little kid? No, I'm not a helper. Like, I told my supervisor that, and it's just like I don't know if she just doesn't want to hear me, or she just like I don't know.
Probably she doesn't want to hear you.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Okay. So has anything else come up with that one friend that you're trying to distance yourself from?
Yes.
Hey.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about that with another friend. So I want to say this was probably I want to say last week. No, it was 2 weeks ago. We went out for the weekend. I think that was Memorial Day. I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went over to my fiance's family's house. They had a cookout. And we just bring our friends. Like his mom, she doesn't really care. She's pretty cool with everyone. So I invited my friends, and we're all there. The one friend, she ended up coming late because she said she was doing something. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it's like as soon as she got there, I kind of felt like the energy shift.
Mm.
Like it just felt different. So I was kind of like ignoring her a little bit because I'm just like, I'm in a good mood. Everyone's in a good mood. But it's just like, and I remember like walking away a few times, like taking pictures, getting food, whatever. And it's like, we did have words a little bit when I came to her and she was like in her phone showing me like old pictures. And I'm just like, why do you keep doing that? Like, it's annoying at this point. I'm like, we are too grown to be reminiscent about stuff like that constantly. Every time I see you, it's the same thing. She's like, oh, no, 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 look. Like, why? I don't want to look. And then she has to recall like the entire night of what happened with each picture.
Mm.
You have a phone, take new pictures. Like, it's the same people here. Like, I don't get it. And it's just like everyone was ignoring her. And I'm just like, I know you feel it. I know you feel it. You have to. But you're choosing to ignore it. Um, and so she ended up getting into an argument with another one of the friends. They've been back and forth throughout the entire like wedding planning process. Them two have been going at it. Um, and it stems back to that friend. Like she's like the root of the problem most of the time. So they got into it, and then my fiance ended up saying something to her. Like he plays a lot, like jokes a lot. So them two were joking back and forth, and then out of nowhere she goes, "Oh well." He says something to her like, "All right, you out the wedding." We're like joking around. So everyone's laughing. She like, "Oh no, I'm not out the wedding because I'm her best friend. I'm her best friend. I'm never going anywhere. My spot. Nobody's taking my spot." But she was directing it at the friend that I told you that we rekindled or whatever. She's
Mm-hmm.
directing it at her, and it's just like that's so corny. Like, just stop. Because now you're already letting me know that that's why you feel threatened. That's why you feel the need to be like you have to constantly say like, "Oh, we've been friends for this amount of years," and "Oh, look, we have memories together," and it's just like, stop. Like nobody else is doing that. Nobody else cares.
Right. Trying to reiterate, we have this history, so be loyal to me.
Exactly. And it's like very, very frustrating. And the friend that she was like trying to say so, she wasn't even paying any attention. She was in her own world. Like she even said at one point, she was like, "Y'all keep arguing when y'all should be sitting over here eating this watermelon. Like that's what's good right now." Like that's what she was doing. She wasn't worried about them. And I'm just like, everybody else was joking, laughing, and it's just you. And even once we had left, she like started sending me texts and voice notes about the friend that she got into an argument with, and I'm just like, that girl don't care. Like she's not texting and calling me. Like, and we live literally like 10 minutes from each other. She's been to my house probably like 10 times since then. She's not worried about that. And even so much as yesterday, she's bringing it up again, and I'm just like, seriously, that happened 2 weeks ago. You have to learn to let things go. Like you have nothing else to discuss.
Right. Mm. Okay. So do you feel like she got where you're coming from, or is this just something you're probably going to have to revisit?
She still doesn't get it, like at all. She does not understand it, and I don't understand why. Like I don't get it. Like I don't call her anymore unless she calls me. I don't text her unless like if we're in a group chat and I'm like talking to everyone. That's when she'll get a text from me. But other than that, it's like there's nothing for me to really say to you.
Okay. I mean, maybe in time. Either she'll get it or she'll ask. Just like, hey, you're not really reaching out to me that much anymore. What's up? Is something going on? And, maybe that'll be the time to have the discussion.
Hopefully, because I'm pretty much over it. I guess I'm trying to just like keep the peace a little bit until the wedding. But after that, yeah, I'm pretty much over it.
I understand that. You have enough stress on your
Yeah,
shoulders dealing with the wedding. Why create another one?
right. Like I'm not even going to visit that right now, but sure, I think our last little hoorah might just be the wedding. Like I'm over it. Like, and it's not even me. Like sometimes I even like question other friends or even like people like outside of our circle just to see like, am I tripping right now? And they're just like, no. Or I ask like hypothetically just to see, to not have any bias in it at all. Because I know some people are biased, but just like she's not only irritating me, she's irritating people that aren't even in our friend circle at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the guys, like my fiance friends that were outside that night, like she like got on their nerves. They just walked away from us, like they didn't even want to just like sit with us anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, and one of his closest friends, he's just like, I told you, stop bringing her around here. Like I don't want to see her. I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's bad.
Okay. So hopefully that plan will work and you can keep distance until the wedding and then deal with it afterwards.
Yeah, she kind of wants me to cut off the friend that she was arguing with, and I'm just like, no, it's not gonna happen.
Why should you do that? Like, If that relationship is working for you, that's
Exactly.
your friend. Why should you be? Oh, I can't be friends with you because she's, too
Mm-mm.
immature to deal with this.
Exactly. Like I just, that's another thing too. Like the immaturity is just, I can't deal with it right now. I feel like we all have our own things going on, but we kind of all have like the same mindset of what we want to do or where we're going in life or something like that. And it's okay to not have it all figured out, but it's just like little things. I can't agree with it. I just can't agree.
I understand. You know, this is part of the adulting that you get to certain places where you realize, ooh, this person really isn't benefiting my life.
Hmm.
So why are they taking up space?
Right. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. That's what it is. Taking up space right now.
Okay. All right, well, it sounds like you have a handle on that situation, that it is what it is. You know what you're comfortable with, what you're not, what you're going to do. So it's been a little bit of time since we talked about all the events and the traumas and
Yes.
everything that happened with that, main relationship that you had in high school. And I know I ended with, ripple effects, just kind of identifying, do you know different places in your life that you feel like you're still struggling because of what happened then?
Um, I think for the most part, I don't know if I still do this now, but like opening up in my relationship, like telling him certain things, like I kind of keep things hidden a little bit. I think I literally just told him about like the guy like forcing himself on me. I just told my fiance that probably like last week. Like he never knew that, and they've seen each other like a lot. They live next to each other, kind of thing. Yeah, so like a couple of blocks away, but yeah, we all pretty much know each other. The city's pretty small, but yeah. So he's like, like I never knew that. Why you didn't say anything? And I'm just like, I don't know. That's like something that I kind of like pushed to the back of my mind. Um,
Okay.
it's that in the beginning, I never wanted him to like meet my mom or anything because I'm like, this is about to be something else. Yeah, that she's about to basically mess up. And she tried to in the beginning, but I didn't let her mess it up. um, I don't know what else I struggle with. Like I feel like there are things, but I don't know what it is exactly. But it's like if I'm in a situation or if something happens, I'll have a flashback. I'm like, okay, wow, this is why. Or I'll start thinking, about that kind of. I don't know.
Okay. So, I mean, I think the first one, that's a good one that we can kind of explore a little bit more if you're okay with that.
Hmm.
Okay. So, you said it's struggling to open up to your fiance just about how you're feeling, where you're at, just being more intimate and more vulnerable.
Right.
So, when you think about that, what are some of the fears that come to the forefront? Like, what are you afraid will happen if you open up?
Um, I feel like because of that relationship, I kind of had to build up this like forgot like childhood plus that relationship. I feel like I had to build up like a thick skin. So it's like by me opening up and being vulnerable, you'll get to see like everything underneath, and then you'll see me as weak and not the tough exterior that I normally am. Like I usually don't let much get to me, um, unless it's a funeral or something. It's rare that you'll see me cry. Like I'm not that kind of person, but it's like sometimes, you know, thinking about these events, it makes you cry because it's like, damn, like this really happened. Like, you know,
Hmm.
especially things that, you hear from other people, things that you see in movies or in books, and it's just like, this is really my life. but unless I say it, no one will ever know. And it's like I kind of put that guy from then, like, and my mom on like the same standard to where they like to victimize everything. And he used to do the same thing too. So he has, I want to say, not an influence, but he has a reputation of like he can't be lying. Like no one will ever believe that he's lying about anything. The way that he lies is like literally out of this world. Like majority of the altercations that me and my mom got into with each other was because of his lies. So it's just like, why am I even gonna bother defending myself or telling you my side of the story when you already believe what he's saying anyway?
Right.
And like he's really good at lying, and that's one thing that I can say that reminds me of my mom so much.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and in all honesty, that dynamic is probably part of what attracted you to him in the first place. There was a sense of familiarity,
Hmm.
around him. And then it wasn't until later you found out how too familiar it was.
Right, right. And I think I struggled with that too because I kept saying to myself, I'm just like, there was plenty of times that I questioned myself. I'm like, why are you even dealing with him? Like, ew. Like, and then I don't know, it just felt like something in me was like I have to deal with him kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it was, and I just never understood it. I try to even understand it now because I'm just like I feel like that kind of took away so much of like my life that it's just like I feel like I just put myself through it for nothing at all. Like, why did you even bother going through all that?
Okay. So, again, I want to validate this, normalize it, because everybody does this. Just because the specifics of the dynamics sound differently, it's really not all that different. Everybody does this. We are all drawn to what's familiar because familiarity is comforting, and our bodies like what's familiar. That's why we engage in patterns and we do the same thing over and over and over again because doing it that way is familiar.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. I didn't think about it like that.
Okay, so don't beat yourself up. We all do this in lots and lots of different ways throughout our lives. We're drawn to what's familiar, even when it's unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
We're still in it and we haven't figured it out yet. And until we figure out, wait, hold on. This is the exact same thing as that over there. And I don't like that. So, no, I don't like this either.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to get out of it. But the piece that we all struggle with, change, is uncomfortable.
Yes. Very.
And here we have this same issue where our body is now fighting against us to do something different because the body is like, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. Can we go back to the thing we used to do? Because that one felt more comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
even though it wasn't good for you.
Right.
So there is a whole physiological component that is at work that if you're not aware that your body is going to fight against you and you don't know how to like determine, well, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is my body fighting against it because I really shouldn't want this healthier dynamic?
Right.
you know, it's like there's all sorts of things that are confusing. And
Mm-hmm.
these are aspects that nobody really talks about. At no point in time did you have a class in middle school or high school that says, hey, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
So I get where you're at and it's confusing and you don't know. So don't beat yourself up for it, especially when you were just a teenager.
Right.
Like you were at the start of developing higher level cognitive functioning. Like,
Right. Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up for not having known what you
Right. Okay. Yeah, even back then, my mom, like, she will always compare him. Like, he reminds, how does she say? He reminds her of my father, but it's like I never got that vibe. I saw more of her in him than I did my father.
okay. But you also have to take this aspect into mind. I don't know how your mother experienced your father,
Right.
and you are totally entitled to have a different experience than her.
Right.
So, however he showed up for her, maybe it was familiar in a
Hmm.
sense.
I think that's where a lot of her anger for him came from because she kind of like had her own kind of flashbacks or whatever.
Gotcha.
And I think that's what made it worse.
And those are her issues to figure out, despite the fact that she did take it out on you.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, coming back, because you said one of the ripple effects is struggling to open up to your fiance, who is a safe person.
Hmm.
Um, and part of that resistance to opening up is the fear of being perceived as weak.
Hmm.
Okay. I think your fiance is a good guy.
Hmm. Oh God.
I think he absolutely means well, whether he knows exactly what to do or not. I think he means well.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, I think he would be on the same page as me in hearing these stories and seeing just how strong you are, you know, and learning a few skills. He can help you take that. Remember how we talked about, okay, strength is one thing where you're enduring, but I want you to move over to being empowered
Yeah.
where you can change things.
Okay.
And I think he can be that person to learn how to see the strength and then help you transform it into empowerment.
Okay.
Okay? Because that's what good people do.
Right.
Good people hear the struggles, they hear the pain, and they reflect back your strength and your empowerment.
Hmm.
Okay?
Got it. Yeah.
It's only the people who aren't good for you who hear that and they prey on it. They're like,
Hmm.
ooh, here's a place where I can really dig into you and beat you down and make you this and make you that. That's like that's a big red flag. Nope, you got.
That's kind of what I'm used to.
But now that we're bringing it out,
Yep.
we're putting it out in the open, you can be more aware of it. That if
Hmm.
you find yourself being in a spot of being okay with this type of behavior, you can say, wait, this isn't okay.
Hmm.
And whether you need to set a limit with that person, you need to cut him off, whatever you need to do that helps you to feel safe.
Okay. Got it. I mean, I think I would like to share those experiences, I guess. But it's like I kind of don't even know how to bring it up. Like, do I randomly just start talking about it, or I don't know if he'll feel like uncomfortable because basically talking about another relationship. So it's just like you know.
I think you should do what feels comfortable for you in the moment. So,
Okay.
like if you guys are doing whatever, something pops up, maybe it's a trigger.
Hmm.
I think that is the best time to say, hey, this memory just popped into my head. Can we talk about it?
Okay.
because I think it's much better when there's like this natural
Right.
inclination to go there than to try to force yourself. It's like,
Right.
well, it's Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We better talk about the thing.
Okay. Right. Okay. Got it. Yeah, I think that was kind of like the biggest struggle. It was just like I didn't really know when to bring it up. So I noticed like when there are certain triggers, like I'll kind of just like tense up, or like he says I go to 100, 1,000, whatever he said. That's kind of the next reaction, instead of just like taking a second to like, okay, it's okay to like talk about it, kind of thing. So I think, yeah, that'll be helpful.
Okay. So definitely, need time to practice, and also keep in mind these are heavily emotionally charged things.
Hmm.
So if you find yourself becoming emotionally overwhelmed, it's okay to pause. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, you know what, let me just step outside on the patio, get some fresh air. I'll come back to it in a little bit. Or if you even need to put it off to the next day,
Hmm.
it's okay. Don't feel like you have to white knuckle it through because you started the conversation.
Right. Okay. I think that sometimes, yeah, like the thought of being overwhelmed just like stops me.
Okay. So the only way, again, to get around that is to know you have the power to direct this any way you need to. So if you need to take a pause, that's okay. If you need to say to be adjourned a different day, that's okay.
Okay.
Because the more you can feel in control over this process, the less afraid you will be of it.
Right. I think that also goes back to what we said before, like my mentality of like all or nothing kind of thing. Yeah. I see that shows up like a lot with everything. Crazy. But yeah, I noticed that too.
Well, that's good.
Right?
You're increasing your awareness. You're getting to a point where you're like, we talked about that in therapy. Oh, yeah, I see it here. I see it here. What do I want to do about it now?
Hmm.
Because this is how you keep this process going, regardless of when we talk.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, I just have to write, finish my note. I was like mid sentence. Okay. So, anything else in regards to that one piece? Because I don't want to like overwhelm you with, this and this and this and this and this. And then we get off the phone and you're like, what'd you say?
No, I think that piece is good. Yeah, that's it for that.
All right. So the next one you mentioned was about your mom. And I feel like the only thing you can really do is continue to see those connections.
Yeah.
See, oh, that reminds me of mom. Let me put, a red flag on that or whatever, because I don't want, again, we just talked about the all or nothing. I don't want you to be in a place of everything that reminds you of mom is wrong.
Hmm.
Because what I've seen happen with people is there could be a handful of positive characteristics in there that people just become fixated on getting rid of. I can't have this characteristic because it reminds me of that person, and that person isn't good.
Right.
You know, I don't want you there, because the honest truth is no one is 100% bad,
Mhm.
you know? So it's okay if you recognize, oh, I am like my mom in that way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So right now, it's just being open to notice it, to be
Mhm.
aware of it. And if you're not sure about it, write it down
Yeah.
and then you can come back to it. There may be certain characteristics that you're like, oh, well, when it shows up in this way, it's okay. But when it shows up like this, that's not a good thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's what I just want you to be aware.
Okay.
Whether those characteristics come up in you or they come up in other people.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be like a mad dash of, hurry up and get away. This is bad. This is bad. You know, being able to breathe, think about it. Okay, well, what exactly is this? And is it really a bad thing in this context?
Mhm. Okay. That makes like so much sense. I swear. There's been like so many times, like it could be like the smallest things, like the way that I'm cleaning up, or like a certain song that I'm listening to, and it's just like I kind of like force myself to be like, no, 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 like you're doing this because it's you, not because of her, and I'm just like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So I think there was a third thing that you mentioned, but I guess I didn't 100% write it down.
um, it was that like I kind of like see, I guess like throughout the relationship, like I've seen like or like felt myself. I don't know how to word it, like feel certain things, and I'm just like I don't know why I feel that way, but I think it goes back to like that relationship. But I couldn't figure out like even like certain triggers or like certain things that my fiance would say or certain things that he would do, and I'm just like the next thing I know, like I'm just going off of him, and it has nothing to do with him. And then I'm like feeling bad, but it's like I'm already mad now. He's mad, so I can't even tell him like why, you know. But I think like over time we have gotten like 100% better with that overall. Um, I don't think we've had like a big like blow up or anything recently, which is like really good. Um, like he even said it himself, like, "Oh, like I'm proud of you," and I'm just like, "Okay, whatever." But
Didn't work on that part.
yeah, like I'm proud of myself. Like I haven't been like blowing things up really. I feel like it's I don't know if it's growth or it's just like I see no point or just like talking to you and becoming like more aware of certain things. It's kind of like pointless, and I'm just like that all makes sense now, like why I was doing that.
Okay. So, yes, it is growth. So, pat yourself on the back. You're
Woo-hoo.
growing.
Mm-hmm.
So, the other thing I want to throw out in regards to this dynamic, no matter how aware you become of all sorts of things, there's always the possibility that something catches you off guard and you just kind
Mm-hmm.
of find yourself in a space. You're not sure why you're in that space and you're reacting. And it's more like a panic reaction because
Mm-hmm.
something's going on, but you have no idea what it is.
Right.
So it's kind of like that fight or flight reaction of, I have to resolve this, but I don't know what it is I'm supposed to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there still will be moments like that. It's
Okay.
not about having to eliminate all of them. The key to this is being able to repair when those moments happen.
Mm-hmm.
So something happens, you're triggered, you have a reaction, maybe there's a blowout, maybe there's not. But once you calm down enough to where you feel like you can talk about this. Even if you don't have all the dots connected and you say, oh, it started here and it went from here to there to there to there to there to there, and this is how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have it all figured out. But when you're calm enough to talk about it, it's about being able to go back to your partner and say, hey, this happened. I want us to talk about it and to repair the damage that took place.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tell my couples that I work with all the time, it's okay to announce what it is.
Right.
I am trying to repair what happened the other day.
Okay.
Because sometimes people knowing from the start where you're coming from, what you're getting at, it helps the process to go smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, sometimes people get defensive because they don't know what's happening and what's going on. And what you talking about? I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even if things escalate, it's not 100% good, you can always go back and make a repair attempt.
Okay. I have to tell myself that that's okay, because sometimes I'm just like, okay, well, we good now, and that happened 2 days ago, so I'm not even about to touch that. But yeah, I think we had a good space now to be able to do that. Like before, I know for a fact that we would not be able to do something like that. But now it's gotten a lot better. Communication has gotten a lot better.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. So now you get to walk down the aisle being like, yes, I do, instead of, do I really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All righty. So, anything else on your mind?
Um, what else? I know. Okay, yeah, we talked about the job and that craziness relationship. I think that's all for right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think right now I'm just, I guess, a weird space of just trying to figure things out and put it all together.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you tried journaling yet or not. I know you showed me the one journal that you got. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm always going to say, journal it out. Take those thoughts, just put them into language. Because, like I said before, now you get your brain involved. Now you get that problem solving prefrontal cortex. And sometimes things will just start to click and snap together rather than having those thoughts going through your head over and over and over again.
Hmm.
So, journaling, just putting it into language will really help.
Yeah. I keep telling myself that. I haven't started. I've been writing the other book, but those are just like small prompts. But I know I need to like write my actual thoughts down, because it's like then once I'm overwhelmed, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I don't want to think about anything else. I'm over it. So yeah, I have a lot to write down tonight, actually.
Okay. Well, I hope you make time for it. Try to set aside 30 minutes. If you can do more, that's awesome. But here's the but with that. If you're journaling and you're feeling like your emotional space is positive, keep going as long as you're okay with it. But if you're journaling and it's really a lot of negative stuff that's stirring, limit it to 30 minutes.
Yeah, I think I told you, like, that's why I never really went back into writing the book that I thought I was gonna write. I was so excited for it. I still think about it sometimes, but it's like revisiting those memories. Sometimes I just get like over emotional, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I can't do this.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
So It helps if you do the other thing that I talked about too. Take a break, because then that reiterates to you that you're in control and you're not a victim to all these emotions.
Hmm.
It feels like, okay, you just opened the floodgates and now you can't close it back.
Right.
So you focus on being in control. If you get to a place it's starting to feel too uncomfortable, it's okay to put it down.
Okay.
You don't have to finish the sentence. You don't have
Hmm.
to finish the word. Just,
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Not bad.
And then if you can, after journaling, do something nice for you.
Okay.
Okay? Because that becomes a nice positive reinforcement
Hmm.
that this journaling stuff is okay because something nice still happens afterwards.
Right. Okay. I'll notate that. I'm gonna put that down right now. Yes, gonna do that.
Okay. So, anything else on your mind?
Um, no, nothing else really. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's perfectly fine. So, I'll take a minute to talk about this. This is how real therapy sessions look. You don't always come in with a whole session full of stuff that you feel like you want to talk about. Sometimes we may have a set direction, and other times we just may meander through life.
Right.
So it's okay. My style is I always want people to enjoy this process. So if we get to a certain point and you're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm like, okay, then we're done.
Okay.
Because I don't ever want you to feel like, I gotta talk.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So as long as you know you can end it when you're comfortable, like this isn't something you're being forced to do, it's not going to be a task. I think it works for people.
Yeah. All right.
Well, alrighty then. Then I will see you next time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You take care.
Okay. You too. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you for having tuned in to another episode of What Would Helen Say, where therapy time is anytime. I hope you've enjoyed the 3-month journey of my client, as once again, this is the last recording with this particular client. I hope you were able to see how the therapeutic process grows over time, um, where we started compared to where we ended. Where towards the end there was the development of more of a rapport, um, almost friendship like, where she felt very comfortable with me towards the end. And no, this isn't the end of her therapeutic journey. She definitely has some other work to do, but it was enough to help her see how to get started and where therapy can continue to help her to grow and develop. I hope you enjoyed season 1. I hope to come back for season 2. So if you are interested in donating to help support a season 2, or if you're interested in gaining access to detailed notes about the skills and the techniques that help my client get from day 1 to now, please click on the Patreon link for more information. Otherwise, I hope to see you in season 2. Bye bye.